Today's video is for you, my four-eyed friends, my glass-loving people, and for those who can't get LASIK surgery and are danged stuck with these darn glasses. The problem with the glasses is when we wear a mask, they tend to fog up quickly. So we're going to look at several different strategies that have been presented online to help me, to help you work without the worry of foggy glasses. Let's get started. Welcome back. My name is Tammy and this is Nurse Minder, and on this channel we do everything nursing. So if you're new here, consider subscribing below so that you get the next video when it's released. Hey there, in today's video we are talking about 7 different hacks that I have seen on the internet to try and keep these glasses from fogging up. Today's video is all for my colleagues who suffer like me wearing glasses. Now, tip number 1 is to wash your glasses with soap and water and let them air dry. So what I've just shown you is I've washed the left lens. It's still air drying here, and just so I can see the difference, and I'm going to leave the right lens without the soap and water, and then we're going to do a stress test to see if those lenses fog up the same or different. Now, to put my mask on, I'm actually going to use one of my handy little do-it-yourself hacks that I talked about in a previous video. We'll pop that up here for you. And it was like 11 different hacks on how to keep your ear loops off your ears. And because we're going to be working with this for a little while, I definitely don't want to be hurting my ears, so I'm going to put this on. Okay, there we go. So this is the glass with the soap and water. This is the glass lens without it. Let's do a quick stress test. Well, they do both fog up, but I feel like the left lens is not quite as quick to fog up, and maybe it's not as full as the other one. So let's try that again. That was a pretty big sigh. So they are still both fogging up fairly significantly. I don't notice a huge difference with the stress test. So what's interesting on the review of the video footage is that the actual left lens, the one that's with the soap and the water, the biggest hack that's all over the internet that says will work to stop your fogging, is actually the most fogged lens out of the two. And it kind of lingers around as you watch it. So notice this one starts to clear, but my left eye is still foggy. Fairly significantly. I don't notice a huge difference. So what we can see here is the right lens appears to be completely cleared off. It comes and goes quickly, but it seems to be hanging and lingering on the inner, in the middle side of this lens here. And it just seems to hang out there. That's weird. So I'm going to give this hack a thumbs down. Hack number 2 is to use tissue paper. Now, the idea around tissue paper, we're going to use this to dampen the movement of air out up the top of our mask, and it can capture some of the moisture. And so I've just grabbed, I probably only need one of these pieces. I just grabbed a single ply of toilet paper. I'm going to fold it in 4 and put this on my mask. So I've got my mask here, and I'm just going to put the tissue paper right in here where my bridge is. Okay, form that in there. Place it on. Okay, and so now we've got some toilet paper in there. I can definitely tell that it's there. I can feel that there's a different texture. Let's give it a stress test. I'm still getting fogging in both lenses, so again, let's try pinch this a little bit more. I'll bring it up a bit higher. Okay, we'll try this again. let's try one more layer and see if that's gonna help. I don't actually enjoy the feeling of the tissue in there. It feels a bit irritating to my nose. Maybe that's a sign of the kind of toilet paper I buy. No, it is quality toilet paper. And I don't think tissue paper would be any different, so I'm gonna do this again. Okay, I've now doubled the layer and we'll see if this is any improvement. I do still get some fogging, more so actually in the right than the left, and that again may be a sign of how well I've got this pinch along my face. It's coming up to my glasses still and they are fogging, although my left side is clearing off much faster than the right. So reviewing the video footage for the tissue paper in the bridge of the mask, I did notice that it fogged less than it would have without it. And so there is a slight improvement with the tissue paper in there. However, I can see some issues with that tissue paper in the sense that it's free floating and it's going to move around, which means it might be continually falling down your nose and into the mask. Or if you're sweating, it's going to absorb all that water and then it's going to feel probably kind of gross. So in terms of comfort, I didn't enjoy the sensation of the toilet paper on my nose. I wouldn't use this one long term, but in terms of effectiveness, it did reduce the amount of fog in the glasses. So I'm going to give this a mixed thumbs up, thumbs down. Now yesterday I was also playing around with the tissue in the bridge of the nose just to kind of get a feel for it before I did this recording. And what I noticed was that the volume of tissue had a very important effect on my vision, and I'd like to show that to you here. Okay, so it's not even been 30 seconds, and I can tell you one of the things that I'm having issues with right now with the Kleenex underneath here is that because I wear trifocals, I know I just aged myself, but because I wear trifocals, it's shifted my glasses up just enough that it's actually making me not see as clearly as I should be able to see. So I'm going to actually reduce how much tissue is in there. So just to let you know, there were actually 2 sheets of 2-ply toilet paper that were folded up in that mask at the time, and that was creating just enough of a bump that the sight line for my glasses was raised up, and that was not very comfortable. So I'm curious to know if this has worked for you though. Put your comments down below and let me know if the tissue has actually been effective for you. Now our next hack is about taking this top where your wireframe is and actually folding it down so that it's on the inside, and then use that against your skin. So let's see, and I'm going to actually double loop it. Double loop it. Kind of like that one, that's fun. It doesn't feel like it's sitting on my nose properly. Let's try tightening that again. So I'm getting some fogging. I'm not finding this particularly comfortable or effective in terms of decreasing the fogging to my glasses. Now this hack has to do with where the ties are actually located. And so typically we were putting them on our ears. We're going to try and bridge them up higher on the back of our head, and to do that we're going to need one of those hacks, those do-it-yourself hacks I taught you in the previous video. So let's put this on. Okay, so that's resting up at the top of my head. I'm going to pinch this in. And it's already starting to slide, so I'm not sure I can get that hack to work. So we're going to just call that one a failure. The next hack is to do the loop-de-loop. We call it, we'll take your thing and we're going to loop it. And we're going to loop it to just create a little bit more tension and create a little bit more tight seal. And that one seems to be working fairly decently. But I'll tell you what I've noticed. I think this actually leads us into the next hack. And the next hack is to leave a gap and leave space. So right now I haven't really enforced tightening, like it's not pulled back on my head where it's so tight that the air hasn't got anywhere to go. In fact, it's loose here around the mouth. And so what's happening is that the air has a place to go. So this is our next hack, and that is just to simply relax the mask so it's off your face a little bit more. Keep these gaps open and pinch your nose to just direct the air down. I definitely feel a lot of air movement inside the mask and moving outwards to the sides, a little bit down, but I'm not getting any fogging in my glasses. So I'm gonna give this hack 2 thumbs up. All right, so I think I just came on to something that's gonna help a lot of you with your glasses and not getting them to fog. What we notice here in the picture on the left, this is one of the earlier hacks that I tried, and you can see that the glass is fogged. And then over here, this is where I double looped, I looped-a-looped the mask. And I'm wondering if you can see what I can see. I mean, I know you can, but can you pick out the difference between these 2 pictures? What I'm hoping you notice is that the mask in this picture is straight across under the eye, and that this one, because of the loop, actually pulls it down and away. And so the air then is forced, it's not up here above my eye socket, it's actually below it, which the eye socket is maybe adding another ridge, it's directing the air down. But I'm thinking that the fact that this mask is now angled down is actually part of the reason that I have a wider gap on the side and the air can escape. Give it a try and let me know in the comments if that works for you. Now our last hack is tape. We're gonna take a small piece of tape and put it on the top outer edge of your mask so that when you put it on, I need to take my glasses off for this part, you seal it and then put it on. I have it sealed here, right where they are supposed to go into my glasses. That actually works really well. I'm gonna pull this tighter and see how that works. Oh, I am still getting some leaking on this side. So let's try a little more tape, shall we? There we go. And wouldn't you know, it's still finding its way through there. Where do I have? That is sealed. This looks sealed. I don't see any space there. Right there, maybe. I really want to know if this one is going to work. So I have it all the way across. There might be a little gap, so I can't believe I'm taping up my face. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. Let's fill in that hole right there. It feels like it's on there pretty solidly. Let's give her a go. And it still gets through. You know why? Because it's coming through my mask, probably. I don't know if you get to see that, but it does fog up on both sides with the tape. So now I'm starting to think it has nothing to do with this bridge at all. It actually has to do with the air that's coming out of the front of my mask. Oh yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that pretty good. So maybe we've been looking at the wrong problem this whole time. I'm gonna peel this off now. Okay, so here's the fun part with the tape is now you have to peel it off. Ow. Ow. Okay, not a fan of that one either. Now I just want to talk about a few other hacks I've read on the internet, and that is to use a paper clip or a pipe cleaner here to create that kind of metal framework. And while that will probably work to give you a little bit more structure around the nose, I'm a little concerned because it won't be underneath the fabric. And now we've got an open edge on our skin with pressure, so we could be putting ourselves at risk for pressure sores, wounds, and if it ends up being dislodged, we can end up getting it in our eye. So I'm not a big fan of the two ideas there for the paperclip or the pipe cleaner. I'd love to hear more from your experiences, and maybe you have something that I haven't found yet on the internet to try and keep these things from fogging up. Please put them in the comments below, share your strategies, and let me know how they're working for you. And if you're not ready to go back to work yet, don't worry, I got some binge-worthy content coming up right now.